Right edition, welcome, happy day. My mom sent me an email a couple of days ago, wanted to share with you. She said, I'm trying to make new friends outside of Facebook while applying the same principles. So I went down the street and I was walking there, and everybody that I saw on the street, I stopped them and I told them what I've eaten today, how I feel and what I've done the night before, and what I'm going to do tomorrow. And I give them pictures of my friends, my family, my dogs, of me gardening and spending time in my swimming pool. And I also listen to their conversations and tell them that I love them. And it works. I've already had 3 people following me, 3 followers, 2 policemen and 1 psychiatrist. Thank you, Mom. That's kind of funny. Hey, Alberta, Canada, what have you done to yourself? You elected a communist government, socialist government. They don't want to be called communists. Other people have called them that, and they said, we're not commies. Actually, a socialist, a commie, come on, what's the difference? I know a communist is a socialist in a hurry, but in any event, they'll get there someday. In any event, at the moment, they just refer to themselves as being socialists. They are negative activists. They're against everything that anybody else wants. They're contrarians, and now they're in charge of a powerhouse. That would be Alberta with their oil and everything else. Since they've been in power, it's only been a couple of months, 35,000 people in the oil business have been laid off. Is there a message there? Oh, just maybe. The Premier says, we plan to transition Alberta away from oil toward a knowledge-based economy. Well, if you're going to do that, you have to have a little knowledge yourself, don't you? Duh. And they kind of don't you know? Chief Willard Cook, he's a person that is an Indian in Canada. He's in charge of 93 people. That's all the people that are on his reservation, and he makes $270,000 a year. And in addition to that, that's what's reported, but he also gets paid by the meeting. Indians do that. It's upwards to $1,000 a meeting, and that's why they have 2 or 3 meetings a day, and they do this for 200 or 300 days of the year. They get paid a lot of money, right? A lot of dough, and guess what, too? They don't pay taxes. So his salary is the equivalency of $400,000 to a white guy, and we don't get paid to have meetings. And you know what? Other Indians on the reserve have water delivered to them in plastic containers because they don't have any services, and you have really rich people like the chief, and you know, they get $3.3 million of revenue a year, this particular band. It all comes from the provincial government, and a select few get all the money. There's 93 people, and there's a council. What is it they talk about? Does anyone know? Because the roads and everything, I think those are all paid for by the province, directly or indirectly. I could go on and on about that. A federal court in Canada is still talking about them. Prisoners, they have the right to vote. Okay, what was that commie guy? What was his name? Paul Martin. When he became Prime Minister, he said, I need all the votes I can get because the polls show I might not win. So he allowed the prisoners to vote, right? The guys that lost all of their rights, he gave them rights because that's what he wanted to do. And now these people are saying, we want to make sure that we keep voting because you people said we couldn't, and they were successful in that. Now the federal government came along and said, we're going to cut off your cable channels. You can't watch porn anymore and stuff like that. And they took the government to court, and they were successful in that as well. So they get to vote, they get to watch TV, they get to kind of do everything they want. I don't know. When you go to jail, maybe you should be happy. Hey, just saying. Here's a guy. He was shot. He was in his car. He was shot by a police officer. The police person was black, and the person who was shot, Mr. Hammond, was white. And the media and the government has not treated the death of an unarmed white teenager differently than they would have any other white person, but it's certainly different than if it was a black person. It ain't fair. We should all be colorblind, but you know, the press and the governments of our day, they're not colorblind, and it's a tragic thing. I mean, again, if he was black, what do you think we'd be hearing about right now? Wouldn't be a pleasant thing. Here's a guy who is black. His name is Jason Hay, and he's a bad guy. And he's in Canada, Toronto. He was sentenced for manslaughter in 2009. The judge called him a moral thug. And Hay, this was the bad guy, he called the judge a faggot right in court. And he said, you're this, and they're all going into the name-calling thing, and he went to jail. He got out on parole right away, and he did it again. He has more than 50 convictions. He was charged again in 2007 for killing another man that he shot in the head. And this is an immigrant too, by the way, and after the victim was identified as a snitch, and then he's convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 7 years on another situation, call it, and this goes on and on. At the sentencing, another judge said that this man is beyond any hope of redemption. You have to keep letting them out. I mean, if you don't pay your alimony, you go to jail for longer than this guy's getting. Do you think there's a messed up system, kind of, sort of, maybe? I think so. You all come back tomorrow. We're going to tell you more about bad systems and things from the right, because politically right is right and left is wrong. See ya.